when one tropical bird wound up in one of the harshest climates on Earth, more than a few eyebrows were raised. Not only were experts confused as to how the creature got there, but the bird's journey also posed a pressing question. What did this mean for the future of our planet? After all, Siberia isn't exactly the kind of place you'd expect to find these kinds of birds. The average annual temperature in the province is 23 degrees, and in winter, most regions dip well into the double negatives. As such, brown bears, reindeer, and other creatures equipped to survive the freezing cold have come to dominate the Siberian wilderness. Yet just outside the village of Motigno, a very different animal decided to make an unexpected pit stop. That creature was a young flamingo, just barely a few years old. A group of children discovered the bird along the banks of the Angara River. And judging by how tired it looked, this flamingo had flown quite a long way. In fact, the bird was so exhausted that it barely resisted as the children scooped it up and brought it back to Motigno. There, they decided to name it Vasya and began feeding the bird shrimp to nurse it back to strength. And as the rumor of the unusual guest spread through the village, people couldn't help but wonder, what was a greater flamingo doing in Siberia? While these birds were known to reside in the warmer regions of Africa and Eurasia, the closest known populations were located thousands of miles away. What's more, most of these populations made for the hot sands of Saudi Arabia during this time of year, some 3,000 miles from Motigno to the south. How could this lone bird have strayed so far off course?
Also, if you have not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell to get inspired by these animal stories every day. Now back to the story.
According to Irina Vorontsova, an expert at the Krasnoyarsk Zoo Royev Ruchi, Vasya was likely headed in that direction from Kazakhstan, but grew too weak to make the full journey. Tired and disoriented, the young bird altered its course and wound up flying in the opposite direction. This phenomena, known as reverse migration, is relatively common among avians, with young birds often being the most susceptible. Greater flamingos, however, have been known to experience this disorientation in later life as well. Greater flamingos are famous for wandering, explained Ken Kaufman, a field editor at the National Audubon Society. They have a wide range in Africa, southern Europe, the Middle East, and southern Asia, and flocks may travel major distances in response to changes in water conditions. According to Andrew Farnsworth, a research associate at the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, he believes that reverse migration may also be genetic in origin. While some birds learn migration routes from their parents, others have them innately passed down to them. This is often a case of variation in the expression of whatever genes control birds' abilities to orient, explained Farnsworth. So, for example, some individuals may orient one way, but then a small percentage will vary in their orientation via genetic variation, and perhaps move in 90 or 180-degree offset directions. If two birds possessing this orientation mutation were to survive and breed, there's a high chance their offspring would also reverse migrate. As this gene is passed down through generations, we could see entire colonies of birds migrating the wrong way. Fortunately, it appears that Vasya's misadventure was simply the result of a bit of confusion. Yet, could this increasing frequency of reverse migrations be hinting at something more sinister going on with our planet? In Farnsworth's mind, the answer is a tentative no. If it were the case that climate change was causing these disruptions, we'd likely see breeding populations residing in Siberia, indicating that the region had warmed enough to support the flamingos. Still, we're not out of the woods yet. According to a 2006 report in Bird Species and Climate Change, increasing global temperatures threaten to devastate world avian populations. If the average temperature goals set forth in the 2016 Paris Agreement aren't met, bird extinction rates could exceed 38% in Europe and 72% in northeastern Australia. As for Vasya, he'll continue to recuperate under the watchful eye of the people of Motigno. While it's unlikely the flamingo will ever find his way back to his flock, his caretakers are hoping to reunite him with birds of his own kind. We would like to pass the flamingo to a zoo or shelter with rare birds, said Antonina Massa, who's currently caring for Vasya. Somewhere the flamingo will be comfortable, alongside companions with whom it can communicate. Ideally, the same bird breed, or at least from the same region.
If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it with your friends and family. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one.